What if I told you that a new US-backed peace plan could end the war in Ukraine, but only if Ukraine agrees to give up parts of its land, reduce its military strength, and accept Russian language and religious demands? A proposal reportedly discussed secretly between American and Ukrainian officials claims to offer peace, but critics say it looks more like a deal on Russia's terms. Is this the turning point in the war, or a major geopolitical gamble? Stay with me till the end, because what I'm about to tell you might change how you look at this entire war. What if peace requires sacrificing sovereignty? Let's find out. According to multiple international media outlets, including the Financial Times and Reuters, the United States has discussed a new confidential peace proposal aimed at ending the Russia-Ukraine war. But this time, the conditions are dramatically different from previous peace initiatives. Reports suggest that Ukraine would have to give up certain territories, including parts of the eastern Donbas region still under Ukrainian control, reduce its military by nearly 50%, including limiting weapons and troop strength, ban certain advanced weapons currently provided by Western allies, recognize the Russian language as an official language in Ukraine, grant special status to the Ukrainian branch of the Russian Orthodox Church, and, in return, the U.S. would restore and continue military aid, but under strict terms. Now, here's the twist. The proposal is believed to have been prepared in consultation with Russian officials, though Moscow publicly denies this. That raises a big question. Is this truly a peace plan or a compromise tilted towards Russia? Would you accept peace if it meant giving up your homeland? Sources claim the proposal was presented in a private meeting in Miami, Florida. That meeting reportedly included Steve Witkoff, a U.S. representative involved in diplomatic talks, and Rustem Umerov, the Secretary of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council. At that meeting, a detailed 28-point proposal was laid out. While many details remain secret, insiders say the plan strongly favors Russian interests, particularly territorial concessions and the downsizing of the Ukrainian military. According to Ukrainian officials quoted by the Financial Times, this proposal is almost identical to what Moscow has wanted from the start of the war. One Ukrainian diplomat said bluntly, "Without major changes, Ukraine can't even begin to discuss these terms." But why would such a proposal be considered now? Because after nearly 4 years of brutal conflict, fatigue is setting in. Ukraine is exhausted. Russia is under sanctions pressure. The U.S. is struggling to maintain costly support, and Europe fears the conflict could expand further. But does strategic exhaustion mean Ukraine is being pushed into a deal it doesn't want? President Volodymyr Zelensky recently hinted that he would consider any proposal that leads to a real and lasting peace. He emphasized working in coordination with the U.S. and other partners, saying that Washington's leadership would be crucial in ending the war. But here's the challenge. Zelensky knows that accepting territorial loss could be seen as a betrayal by many Ukrainians. Ukraine has paid a heavy price: lives lost, cities destroyed, millions displaced. So how do you tell your people that part of the country will be gone forever? Yet at the same time, Zelensky seems increasingly aware that a military victory alone may not be enough. The country needs international guarantees, economic recovery, and long-term security, things that can't be won on the battlefield alone. So is Zelensky preparing the public for compromise or resisting it behind the scenes? Interestingly, despite being at the center of the story, Russia has denied that it is involved in any new peace proposal. Kremlin officials confirmed that communication with the U.S. continues, but said there have been no concrete developments towards any peace deal. However, many experts believe Russia is just waiting. Why? Because the proposal already reflects many of Moscow's long-term goals: Ukraine giving up parts of Donbas, reduction of Ukrainian military strength, recognition of Russian language and religious influence, and potential limits on NATO presence in Ukraine. In other words, Russia might not need to negotiate because the proposal is already close to what it wants. Is peace being negotiated or quietly shaped into Russia's victory without firing a shot? Why would the United States, Ukraine's biggest military supporter, create a plan that seems to favor Russia? Experts say Washington may be shifting from supporting the war effort to seeking diplomatic exit. Several key reasons. Rising financial costs. The U.S. has spent billions on Ukraine, with more support expected if the war drags on. Political shifts. A growing number of American leaders suggest it's time to negotiate peace rather than prolong fighting. Global pressures. The U.S. is managing multiple global crises, from tensions in the Middle East to relations with China. As a result, Ukraine can no longer be its sole priority. Some analysts even suggest the U.S. may be preparing Ukraine to transition from active battlefield war to long-term negotiated peace, even if that peace comes with painful concessions. Is America ending the war, or simply ending its own involvement? So, here's the big question. Should Ukraine accept this deal to end the war, even if it means losing territories, or should it continue fighting for full sovereignty? Let's look at both sides. Arguments for accepting the deal. Saves lives and stops further destruction. Opens the door to international rebuilding and economic aid. Prevents further isolation and fatigue from allies. Offers long-term security guarantees from the U.S. and NATO. Arguments against accepting the deal. Ukraine loses sovereign territory permanently. Sets a global precedent that wars can change borders. Could lead to internal unrest or political backlash. Weakens Ukrainian defense for future threats. This is not just a political decision. It's a historical turning point. A choice between protecting national identity and achieving peace. So, is peace worth the price of compromise? As of now, the plan is not officially approved by Ukraine or Russia. The U.S. has not publicly confirmed it. Russia denies involvement but benefits if it moves forward. Zelensky faces a critical decision: fight on or negotiate. What happens next will define the future not just of Ukraine, but of how wars are ended in the modern world. Will peace come through victory, or will it come through painful compromise? Only time will tell. What do you think? Should Ukraine accept this plan to end the war even if it means losing territories? Or should it continue fighting for full sovereignty? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your perspective. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more global news breakdowns.